I am so excited. I have launched a new company with my business partner and podcast producer, Chase Mitchell. We have founded Hype U Media LLC. Hype U Media is a podcast network. It is also a media company, and eventually it will be the entry point for high level infinite learning for entrepreneurs who are looking to dip their toes into the paid coaching space. So currently what we are is a network of podcasts hosted by coaches and entrepreneurs and people like me. So if you've been listening to On the Daily, think of different hosts that speak around the same type of topics, but in different areas of business. We have 4 pillars at Hype U Media. One is innovation. The other one is strategy. One is leadership, and one is energetics. And all of our hosts will fall somewhere in those realms, and they will also be coaches in their own right. And they will all have their own businesses or products or other things that they are creating and building within their own businesses. So what we are looking for is more hosts. So if you are a coach in that space, in one of those pillars, whether it be energetics or strategy, ops, finance, innovation, so content creation, drop shipping, product-based business, photography. If you do a lot with astrology, there's a lot of different areas that you could fall in. But if this is you and you're like, wow, I have a podcast and I'm a coach or I'm an entrepreneur, we want to chat with you. So send me a message on Instagram at Danielle_on-the-daily. You can also send us a message at HypeU_media. That's HYPE, the letter U_media. You can slide into our DMs there and we will set up a call and we will have a conversation and see if it's a fit. We can't wait to chat with you. We are so excited about building this. I believe, and Chase believes, and our social media team believes that we really think that Hype U is going to change the face of the podcasting industry as well as the entrepreneurship space forever. And we're just so excited to share it with you. Please go follow the Instagram at Hype U, that's the letter U_media, and see what we're all about. But if you are in this, if this is all lighting you up, we want to hear from you. So we'll chat soon. Hey friend, welcome to On the Daily. I'm your host, Danielle McCleary, and I am a quantum business coach. I'm the host of this podcast. I'm a multi-6-figure entrepreneur, co-founder and president of Hype U Media, and CEO of Danielle on the Daily Coaching. What I'm really interested in is helping you live a life and have a business that is a full body yes. So through all of my education and all of my experience, I'm bringing you 2 episodes a week where I will guide you and give you the tools necessary to scale a massive, sustainable, and sexy business using your intuition, wealth energetics, and human design. What we can call it is business biohacking. So if you're down for that, then I say let's frickin' go. I'm so glad you're here. Happy new moon in Pisces on the Daily Family. We're going to talk a little bit about the new moon in Pisces. It's a really good new moon. Pisces is the last of our mutable signs, but it's also a really cool energy. And I want to tell you about it so that you can start to welcome in the power of Pisces this week and beyond. I also will tell you a little bit about what's going on in our energy this week with astrology. And so if you do feel this type of way, you know that it is also partly due to what is happening with our energy as a collective in general. And then we're going to talk about some business stuff. Pretty simple. Let's go. New moon in Pisces. So, new moon in Pisces. So we've entered Pisces season, which is the energy of this and, or that, or, which I think is really special, especially because currently we live in a world and we live in a reality that is very polarized and not in a I stand for what I stand for way, but in a you must choose black or white, this or that, yes or no. There is no in between. And Pisces is a really good sign to remind us that a lot of possibilities are out there. In fact, infinite. In the quantum field, there are infinite possibilities, and not just the ones that we can see or even fathom. And so I think with Pisces season and a new moon in Pisces, it's a really good opportunity for us to check in with all of the different options we have in this life, right? Like not just the ones that we see, but like also being curious to like what else is out there and maybe what we don't see or what we haven't thought of, or, you know, being willing to listen to other people's opinions and take on other people's ideas. Pisces is a really good sign for options. And so a lot of the conversations that might come up with the new moon in Pisces is, you know, yes, I see your perspective and here's mine. Or yes, that is an option and it could also be like this. Or yes, this is true. Or maybe it's this. So it's just getting a lot more curious and a lot more playful. And, you know, maybe in your business, that's asking more questions from people on your team, or that's asking more questions from, you know, people that you work with or from clients. It's just getting more clarity, but also the choice to learn more, which Pisces is such a sign of learning. I feel like every Pisces I know is always learning more. They're always expanding their knowledge. They're always expanding, you know, what they know to be true. And this new moon in Pisces is a really good reminder for all of us to be in that space. So be open to possibilities this week, especially as we move into this season. Be open to learning something that you don't even know yet, because that will also happen. And then I also want to share something that's happening in our energy field currently is this week, you might notice a lot of past trauma coming back up, past limiting beliefs, past wounds, whatever it is. They may like kind of rear their ugly head this week. And I say treat it as an opportunity to heal more, an opportunity to learn more, an opportunity to dive deeper into your healing. I think that it's a really good time to do that. But don't be surprised if you kind of feel like you have the wind knocked out of you at some points, because you're like, wow, I already really healed that. And now I'm like dealing with it again and it doesn't feel good. I've definitely had a few of those moments in the past couple of days. And it's, you know, it'll be in relationship to like relation to my business, but also like my relationship with Breezy. Even like today, something kind of came out that I thought I had healed, and it had to do with like a fear of abandonment that I used to have with like partners, or like, you know, one of my exes like would travel for work a lot, and I would always feel like it was something wrong with me, or, you know, the feeling abandoned when my ex-husband would like be deployed in the Navy. A lot of those feelings came back up this morning because Breezy has a job currently that requires her to travel. And so I did have to kind of re-deal with some of those old wounds, which is fine. It's an opportunity and it's an invitation. And, you know, taking the opportunities and the invitations when they come is so powerful, because it really does like help to kind of propel you into that next level or that next version of yourself. So just know that something like that may come up for you this week. It's not a bad thing. It's nothing to fear. It's just a really good opportunity to, you know, just ask questions and maybe address why that's coming up again, or what about that haven't you fully healed yet? Let's talk about leadership, because I think we have a very clear idea of what we think leadership is, and it probably is partly that. I also think that there is a space of leadership that we are not talking about enough, and I've talked about it a lot on this show, but it's the idea of leading ourselves. And a lot of the ability to lead others is to be able to powerfully lead yourself. And the reason why this is coming up today and why I'm wanting to talk about it is because I've had a few people in my DMs really wanting to join my new mastermind launching on March 1st called Launch with Power. Now, you heard a lot of my Launch with Power people on the episode on Friday about Rihanna. If you haven't heard that episode, I highly suggest you go back and listen to it, because it is so powerful. But a lot of my Launch with Power clients were on that episode. So you can kind of see like the conversations that we have inside of my containers. But anyway, I've had a lot of people asking or telling me that they want to be a part of that space, because March 1st, that mastermind, which has been 8 weeks up until now, is turning into a rolling mastermind, which means that you can come in for a 6 or 12-month commitment. And the reason why I decided to make it rolling is because through doing it this round with people who have been so amazing in the process of learning how to expand this mastermind, I have learned that, and I've come to the conclusion that 8 weeks, 12 weeks wouldn't be enough, because what the mastermind is based on is new entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs that are looking to expand their business. And I think a lot of expansion and growth in a business very, 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 very much is based on the ability to have staying power and length and longevity. And so when I was deciding to make this rolling, I was like, well, we need to do it longer, because that's a business, right? We're not just starting a business to have instant overnight success and then have it fizzle out. We're looking for staying power. And so this container needs to reflect that. And so I decided to make this mastermind rolling. Well, one of the conversations that we've been talking about a lot, and I've had a couple people slide into my DMs being like, it's a big investment. And yes, it is a big investment. You are getting so much value. You're getting personalized support from me in that container, but you're also getting like support from other entrepreneurs who have maybe done what you're doing. And that is what determines the value of a container, is how close of proximity people have to me, right? So my low ticket offers, which are my master classes and some of my, multi-day master classes, you don't get personalized support. You come on, you listen to a training, and I coach you on a specific topic. Now, those are gold. Like, that's another thing, is people will always come to me and they'll be like, what should I start with? Like, which programs do you recommend? And I'm like, I recommend all of them. I recommend that you do all of them, because they are all essential pieces to growing a business. And if it is personalized support that you want, then a masterclass and a group program are not probably for you, but a mastermind or private mentorship is. And that's because I offer you personalized support in those containers, whether that be in Voxer, or if I offer a one-on-one opportunity or on a group call with hot seat coaching, you're getting more personalized support, which is awesome. And so I get people that are hesitant about the investment. And I think a lot of people come to me looking for me to walk you through the investment and help you feel good about it. And that's just something I'm never going to do. I'm never going to walk you through an investment. I think that part of leadership is what, we're talking about in this episode. Like, leadership is more than leading yourself or leading others and, leading an organization or leading a team or leading a business. It's about being able to lead yourself. And I think the big place that I knew I was growing, like when I really knew I was growing, was when I wasn't so dramatic about investing in my business, like with a coach. Those were no longer like big dramatic decisions. Those were just like, oh yeah, it's essential. Like, this is a non-negotiable. Investing in my business, in a mastermind, in private coaching, in group programs, that's a non-negotiable for my business, because there are people out there who know more than I do, and I need to be in rooms with them. And so what I will tell you is, if you dance around these ideas, right? If you are the person who always asks for the link to my master classes or to my masterminds or to my group programs, but then you see the price and you clam up and you freeze up, that is your ego trying to slow you down, because that is a desire you have, the desire to expand, the desire to grow. That is something that you have. And if your ego is allowed to stop you, it will every single time. And so I think a lot of the work that I've been doing with a lot of my clients inside of my masterminds and my group program, or in my private mentorship rather, is this idea that in order to truly have the growth that you want, you need to be able to lead yourself and talk yourself through investments and not be so dramatic about them. I've seen people be like, oh my gosh, I'm investing in this and it's such a big deal. And, they tell everybody and they get really clammy and nervous and they talk about how nervous they are, but that's not a sign of growth. That's actually like kind of a sign of scarcity. Once you can just know that investing is part of the process, like you don't announce every day when you eat breakfast. You don't announce every day when you brush your teeth. Investing in your business and jumping into programs and masterminds and group coaching calls that align with your spirit, and that because your intuition led you to them, you need to get to the point where like investing in something is not what you shout from the rooftops every single time, right? It needs to become a less dramatic process. And that's part of leading yourself, right? The person who leads themselves is the person who makes decisions based on the life context they want, and they aren't looking for approval. They're not looking for praise. They're not looking for confirmation. They're not looking for people to justify it for them or for, a reason to justify it to others. They're just moving, right? And this is something that I am very, very passionate about. I believe so fully that a lot of growth that happens has happened in my business happened when I literally would be like, I am just moving. I am making the choice to move. I am investing as needed and as desired. And I don't really need to tell people about it. I don't need to, go and shout it from the rooftops that oh my gosh, I invested, $40,000 into this program. Like, no, I don't need to do that anymore. And like I've invested in things before and Breezy hasn't even known. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I invested, I think the last one was like an $18,000 program. And I invested in it with my coach, the mentor that I have that I work with privately. I invested in one of the programs she does, because that's the other thing is like programs. I've said this on this show before. Programs are going to be more like coaching. That is like, here's a skill, here's a topic, here's something specific that I'm going to teach you and you're going to get the knowledge. And that is coaching. Then I also pay for mentorship because I want to have somebody that I can walk through the world with. I want to ask the behind the scenes questions. I want to ask the nitty gritty questions that, aren't going to be answered on a group program or aren't going to be asked or answered in a masterclass. And so I invested in this program and I like randomly told Breezy, I was like, oh yeah, I invested in this program. And she's like, oh, you did? And I'm like, yeah, it was like 18,000. And she's like, wait, what? And so I don't always tell her because it's like, just not dramatic. I'm not dramatic about it. Like I understand that investing in my business is essential. And I know there's so many people that are like, oh, well, I don't have the money to invest in my business, so I'm just going to invest time into my business. But it's like, if you don't know your blind spots, then just working on your business is not going to show you your blind spots. The only person who can show you your blind spots is a coach or a mentor. Or a peer mentor in a mastermind, right? Like otherwise you're just going to be in your own echo chamber and you're never going to see your blind spots, which means you're never going to get out of these loops and patterns that ultimately are keeping you stuck. And they're the reason why you come back to square one so much. They're the reason why you start and stop so much. They're the reason why you find yourself asking for approval from like your brother who like works at the bank, but like has never built a business on his own. All of these things are so true and so powerful. And they're just further testimony to having a coach and having a mentor and somebody that can show you your blind spots. Because when you know your blind spots, now you can do something different. And then when you do something different, that's when your whole life changes, right? So I would say get less dramatic about the investments, right? Like, yeah, investments are investments for a reason. They stretch you. Like there's things that I've invested in before that I'm like, wow, I am not making this much money right now, but it's about compounding, right? Like, as a coach, I crawled so you can run, right? Like I literally teach my clients how to run, and my clients that are experiencing these multi-5 and 6-figure months are doing it because they're running. They've collapsed time. They're using me as the person who can help them get through some of the shit that plagues entrepreneurs. And because I've done it and because I've crawled, I can now give you the information and the tools so that you can get through it a lot quicker than me. And that's what I do. And then ultimately it's up to you to lead yourself into these investments, into these programs, into these, masterminds, what have you. It's your responsibility to lead yourself into those spaces. Because if you are waiting for somebody to convince you, or if you're waiting for somebody to ask, or if you're waiting for someone to, tell you that it was awesome, you're probably going to be waiting forever and you're not going to be growing. And I think once you just adopt the perspective of like, I know that investing in my business and investing in a coach, investing in programs, investing in masterminds, mentorship, etc., is a non-negotiable. And I've decided to make it a non-negotiable. And every move I make in my business will come from the idea that I understand that mentorship and coaching are a non-negotiable. So if there's anything I can tell you, it's lead yourself into a more powerful way of being where you are not looking for validation. You are not looking for confirmation. You are just moving, and you're moving because you understand the life context that you want. And then you're only making decisions based on that. Oh, but Danielle, I can't afford it. You probably can, actually. I mean, I'm never going to try to convince you that you can afford an investment, but I guarantee you can. Yes, you might have to sacrifice some things. You might not have to, maybe not, you're not going to go to Starbucks every day like you used to, but ultimately, what's the goal is what you have to ask yourself. What's the goal? Okay. I think that's it for today. I hope you have a good week. I ordered about I don't even know how much, $13,000 or $14,000 worth of restoration hardware furniture that is officially ready to be delivered and will be delivered either this week or early next week. And I am so excited because I got the cloud couch and I got this really amazing dining room table and these side tables and just so many things. And I'm just so excited. So I just thought I'd tell you that. Okay. My Launch with Power Mastermind. If you want to be a part of that, I know you do. So many of you have danced around it for long enough. Slide into my DMs or click the link in my show notes to register for that. If you have any questions, you can come find me on Instagram, Danielle_on_the_daily. And I can answer any questions you have about that container. But we start March 1st and it will include coaching calls. It'll include the opportunity for private calls with me. It'll include a Voxer group. It'll include certain meditations, and I'm going to bring in certain experts and all these other things. And I hope that you can be a part of it with us. You can pay per month. You can pay in full, whatever works for you. All right. I love you and I hope you have a good week. See you on Friday. Bye.